Okay, people, it's time for my favorite segment, Hayley's Comments. Good morning, Hayley. How are you doing?
Good evening, Jamoke. I'm doing just fine over here on the other side of the world. How are you?
I am hanging in there, getting ready to start my day, and I am really excited when I get to start my day with Hayley's Comments, not just because you always throw a curveball. It's a lot of fun, but I've been stuck in NBA bubble basketball, talking a lot about it with Joe Walkowski and, making picks, watching games. So it's like, wow, let me come up for air a little bit.
Yeah, well, I got some air for you. We're going to take you to some weird places today. How about we start
Okay.
with a little baseball?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, this is the most wholesome thing you're going to have on your podcast, ever. So I love the Little League World Series and everything that happens on the diamond, away from the diamond, everything surrounding the Little League World Series. And this is the closest thing you will get to that kind of wholesome baseball that's going to happen in Major League Baseball. So a lot of people have followed the story of Matt Harvey. He was a teammate of our favorite baseball player last year. So rooting for him. And he was called up this week to make his debut with the Kansas City Royals. He signed a minor league deal with them, and he's looking to make a career comeback here. His outing got off to an uncertain start, but he was doing pretty good. He was painting the corners. He looked like he had great command, and he struck out Jesse Winker, and this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. It looked like it was a four-seam fastball. I have to confer with my baseball sources here in the household. But the movement on this thing was nasty. And Winker was so impressed, he turned around as he was walking off the field and gave Harvey a thumbs up. How cute is that?
That's pretty cool. I mean, I never thought Batman would fall so far after starting with the Mets. Who doesn't love a comeback story, especially in America? It's really cool to see him back on the diamond. There was a lot, which we will get into later, which was surrounding this game. But first and foremost, it was the first game back for the Cincinnati Reds after having to pause for coronavirus, a Matt Harvey start, a lot of drama. He was even considering playing in South Korea, but, decided to try to give MLB another shot. And it's exciting to see him on the mound. I think the funny thing when I think about his quote was it was kind of a surreal moment. And I just had two bad pitches that were home runs. I mean, it's only two, and we lost the game because of it. But
you can make two mistakes. Heck, you can make one mistake, and it'll cost you the game.
The entire game.
Works.
Yeah.
You don't locate a pitch right, but hey, he looked phenomenal in what I saw. So good for Harvey. I'm rooting for him. You're rooting for him now, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so on a much less positive note, before the first pitch, not many people I think were tuned into the broadcast, Jamoke, but Tom Brennaman, the play-by-play announcer for the Cincinnati Reds, let a homophobic slur fly over the air. A lot of people have heard it. It's out there in the Twitterverse. It shocked me. I had to listen to it about 5 times to confirm that what he said was what he actually said. I was thinking maybe I misheard it. Maybe it was a lisp in some way, shape, or form. But Jamoke, you and I work together in professional sports at a pretty high level. I've never heard you say anything like that. I've never heard one of my colleagues say anything like that. I think you can say the same. How appalled are you? I mean, I think that's the only question here is how appalled are you that someone can have that kind of platform and still have that kind of hate in their heart?
Mm-hmm. I think let's start there, right? The hate in their heart is tough to understand. One, where it comes from, that we all come with certain things that we don't quite understand, that over the course of time, we may have been used to saying something and now we can't say it. And it's not a thing where you should say, well, you used to be able to say it. No, the bottom line is we need to realize that we should have never been saying it. Yeah. That's where it comes from. Secondarily, as a professional, you got to know, right? Don't say anything on a hot mic. Bottom line, you keep it to business. Try as best you can to keep your personal feelings, thoughts, expressions, whatever the case may be, just don't say them. because once people see who you are, understand what, you peel back the onions and see underneath that bottom layer, this is who Tom Brennaman is. And the unfortunate thing is, he actually called the game the next day before they said, hey, we got to suspend you. I know people don't like the cancel culture. I'm not a big fan of the cancel culture. I think that, just like we're talking about Matt Harvey getting a second or third chance to come back, you would like to think that that's where we are, that we should have that second chance. But in this cancel culture, Tom's got to go. You had a great career. I guess, you are going to have to suffer some major consequences for making that mistake. And I mean, look, for any of the young professionals, for you and me out there, hey, hot mic, watch what you say. At least because, for you and me, you and I are the only two that are controlling this mic and this recording right now. But when you're Tom Brennaman, there's people around the world watching your raw feed. There are people in the truck immediately with your broadcast that have are listening to everything you say. You just got to be careful.
Here's what bothered me about it was the game went on for 5 innings. He made an apology. How can you so quickly, when he said that with such conviction, when he said that slur with such conviction, how can you so quickly put together a sincere apology? I think that apology isn't going to sit with anyone as a genuine one, really, because you can see that that's what's on his heart, and he knows better at this point. It's 2020. He knows better, absolutely. That's why it's very hard for the public to reckon with his apology. We've seen celebrities say things that they absolutely shouldn't say, and in a way pay recompense for it. I don't know if you've been following The Bachelor or Bachelorette, but Hannah Brown, the most popular figure probably in the entire franchise, said a racial slur when she was lip syncing a song. And she went on to spend 2 weeks studying why it's wrong, the history of that kind of hate in our country. And from her apology seems very genuine, and she seems like she went and educated herself, and she was humble and allowed herself to learn. So a lot of people in the Black community accepted her apology, but here I haven't heard anyone in the gay LGBTQ plus community say that sounded like a truly sincere apology, and you can't blame them for that. And there just isn't room for that, particularly when you're a public figure. I just cannot imagine the years that man has been on the job to be able to get those words through his filter and let that go out over broadcast. It astounds me.
Yeah. And I think, reading on Twitter, it was interesting to see the LGBT community, some of them coming down on him, some of them saying, hey, like you're saying, let's give him a chance to get educated. The word he used, I still don't understand how they use that word for a cigarette in the Great Britain. Like, I just feel like that word needs to go away. But my thing is that it isn't like this word has been okay and now 2 months ago they said you can't use it. Right. He's been using it. This means he's been using this word and saying this stuff for a very, very long time. And when the mic is really off, this is how he talks. This is what he believes in his heart, either about the LGBT community or about that F word, one of the two, or both. And so for him to talk about it the way he did, for him to, in his apology, use the word pride, I take pride, like all of these things that you're just thinking about, like, yeah, I just, it's tough. I think it's tough, but I feel like some people are going to have to suffer tough consequences. And one of those for Tom Brennaman, you had a great career, might be you got to just go and we got to find somebody else to replace you.
The court of public opinion is a tough one, so we can rest assured that
it will not die. It will not die.
Absolutely not. Especially when everyone has nothing better to do than rip people apart on Twitter. People
Yep.
should be understanding and reasonable. So I'll throw that little disclaimer out there. Okay, unwritten rules of baseball. That is one very obvious unwritten rule. Don't utter homophobic, hateful, racial slurs, anything like that, anywhere in the world, let alone on a broadcast. Apparently, a big unwritten rule of baseball I was unaware of. Did you know when the bases are loaded and you have a substantial lead that on a 3-0 count, you shouldn't swing at a fat pitch right up here, right about up here?
Right. Oh,
Right?
Definitely. Yeah. I
Did not know.
downloaded the unwritten rules book on my phone because it was 1 million pages long. So it's tough to know all of the unwritten rules, but I know them. I looked at my PDF.
Honestly, though, if your guys out there and you get a fastball kind of up in the zone and you can get a barrel on it, don't you swing? Am I just a morally corrupt person? Because I'm going to go ahead and say maybe you should intentionally walk them. Maybe if you don't have that kind of command, I don't know. Why would you put anything near the zone if you're worried about it? I just wouldn't count, especially a young guy like that. I mean, if it's an old vet you face for years and years, but I don't know, man.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. got in trouble for it. I think there's a trend here. I think the unwritten rule, the amendment needs to be, if you are the son of another former player, you should understand or respect the unwritten rules a little bit more. But you know what I think with this younger generation, maybe you need to write the rules down. Maybe that's what you do, because they need to be written for people to understand the rules. I think if anything, maybe the problem was that Fernando Tatis Jr. should have done like the Michael Jordan, like shrug, like, sorry, just hit a home run. My bad.
Dude, I was happy for the guy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna lie to you.
too. I love it. And I love anything against the unwritten rules because they're the most ridiculous thing I have ever, in my entire life of sports, I have never, ever understood. Yeah.
I know.
That's how I feel.
It's crazy. And the nuance in it, like there's so many. And how can guys be aware of all of this when this is going on the field? Like, it just blows my mind. All right. So that's something that basically requires a master's degree, and we probably will never fully understand. Okay, we'll talk some NHL. We got some hockey in August. How about that?
Hockey in August. Who knew? It's just as bad as when you think about hockey in Phoenix. Like, no, you can't play hockey in Phoenix. It just doesn't work in my book.
The guys are supposed to be up at their lake houses in Canada celebrating with the cup and not here.
Exactly. Not here playing hockey. No.
But Alex Ovechkin is rocking some questionable facial hair. His goatee. I would like to get your take on it. And could it get any more Russian?
So, no, he definitely looks Russian. It reminds me of Rocky IV, I will break you. Like, Ivan Drago. Like, no, it's just funny to see. Okay, because first let me unpack this a little bit. To me, that's another unwritten rule. Like, I didn't even understand this whole thing about not shaving during the playoffs. I didn't even understand it until, I became, when I was an employee and, working with I should have worn my ring because I knew we were talking about the Caps. I should have worn my ring. It's upstairs somewhere. But no, like, I feel like it's a good thing because to see Alex Ovechkin, the Capitals, go down like this, and then he has a little goatee, they're about to get eliminated, not just eliminated, but by their former coach, Barry Trotz, who now coaches the Islanders. Trotz. That would have been devastating. So you needed something to turn it around, something. And if they can come back from a 3-0 deficit because Alex Ovechkin now has a goatee, why not? I mean, the greatest goal scorer ever, the greatest player, which, by the way, I mentioned Phoenix, that's where he had his best goal ever of all time, on his back, sliding on the ice, flicks it behind his – oh, gosh, that goal was amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
absolute beauty.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, though. I still got a soft spot for Barry Trotz. So if the worst were to happen, would be not so unhappy for. I can't say it, but
Yeah.
wouldn't be miserable for him. Alex Ovechkin, postseason greatness, 68 career postseason goals. He's now tied with Gordie Howe and Sidney Crosby for 18th. Yep, 18th most postseason goals all time in the NHL history. So amazing. And I'm a believer that you can change the mojo with just the smallest tweaks. But
Yeah.
Ovi changing his facial hair is a huge tweak, actually, because I think of him as the Wolverine with the really just wild, kind of
Yeah.
unkempt hair.
Yeah.
But I don't like it. I don't like the aesthetic, but if it works, it works.
And it added to his mystique. You know, I
Mm,
think he just looks different now. You know what he looks? He looks older. He
he
looks
does.
like an
That's what I'm
older
talking about.
veteran, where it's like, wait, you know, he's on his last leg. This is like the end of his career, and
Yeah.
he's a mature Ovechkin. He's the dad now. And I think for the Capitals, just say that it was because we're trying to reverse our playoff mojo. Just say it.
Mm.
Just say it. Come on, because then
Yeah, I
then you
feel like
have all of America shaving their playoff beards to be goatees. That's what's happening right now with Russian Machine and whoever else in DC. I'm
woof.
sure they're all changing their beards into playoff goatees.
Oh, Ovi, I'm mad at you for that one, but if it works, it works.
It works. It
Um,
works.
let's pivot to football. The Washington football team making a lot of positive changes here, trying to make amends and send their ship in a better direction. Jason Wright hired as the team president, the first Black team president in NFL history. What do you think about this move? What do you think about him as a figurehead here for the Reds? Forgive me. I'm going to go back and you can bleep that out. That's
Okay.
going to take a
Okay.
long time to
So,
get used to.
what's
What,
Go ahead.
what do you think about him as a figurehead here for the Washington football team?
I am excited because I think I really enjoy, you know, we talk about a comeback story. I like transformations of players that move into the front office. You know, I think even when I look at any job, I always talk about you got to have experience before you get the job. And when someone doesn't have experience, I'm very critical and I don't really like it. But you look at someone like Jason Wright, and he's 38 years old, former running back. He's worked for multiple teams. The Washington football team needs a culture change. What better way to have a culture change than go with someone who has the skin color that has dealt with a lot of issues for African Americans for over 400 years. Like the
Mm.
things that we have dealt with as people, I will applaud anyone who's getting an opportunity to not just be in an organization. It's one thing to just hire African Americans or a woman, you know, or someone LGBTQ. You know, we have former female coaches now in the NFL. So it's one thing to start hiring people. You know, we talk about that Dan Rooney room in football, but it's another when they are in a leadership position, when they can actually make change and bring other people up. And not just, you know, yeah, you want to bring up minorities, but you also know that it shouldn't just be minorities. It should be the best person for the job in most cases. But I think in this case, you know, I think it's extra special because he's African American. He is a former player. And I know that he's worked for the McKinsey Institute. He's had years of experience with the Falcons, 49ers, Browns, Cardinals. So he comes with a resume that is worthy of the job. And first and foremost, that's why I like to hire.
Jim, okay, you hit the nail right on the head. It's pretty much international consensus that it's time to lift the voices of people from marginalized groups. And you can't point to a hiring like this or another appointee and say that, oh, he's just getting the job because they want the first, they want that accolade. There are so many people who are qualified for these positions and they're finally being represented. And I think that's going to sit well with the Washington fan base. And that's something that's so important to the Washington area because the history surrounding this team and the region is so fraught with racial controversy. So to have a leader like that with that kind of football resume is fantastic.
Yeah, and I would like to see how he and Ron Rivera work together because, Jason is going to be responsible for leading the organizations, like their business division. This isn't, he's not coming in to do, football and dealing with coaches and stuff like that. No, he's going to be working with the operations, the marketing, sales, finance. So it'll be interesting to see what he does on that side of the ball. The one thing I will say, and I won't get into it, people can look it up, but Bomani Jones made some comments about how he's skeptical of people that come out of the McKinsey company. They've done some shady dealings with the Astros, things like that. So it'll be interesting to see, I know he got a lot of backlash for it. Then he had to kind of say, well, no, look, I'm happy for him. I'm just talking about the McKinsey and company. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. But, that is another issue, too, when you talk about the cancel culture. Bomani Jones, your brother, you can't be, ripping on the brother before he gets the job. And it's like, I get that, but he's also coming at it from factual evidence that says that some people have done some crazy things from the McKinsey company. But at the same time, we're talking about, bad apples spoiling the bunch with McKinsey company, because I'm sure there are a lot of great employees out of there. And Jason Wright may be another one.
Okay, so real life Willy Wonka type situation going on in a Swiss town. A Lindt chocolate factory had a malfunction, and they had some precipitation, some pretty sweet precipitation. It was snowing chocolate, Jamoke.
That is beautiful.
Would you be out there making snow angels?
Almost definitely. I would make a snow angel. You know what else I was thinking about? I would make a little teeny tiny chocolate snowman. If I could make a little teeny tiny, and then just take one little bit, it'd be like well, I guess it'd be wrong to call it a Hershey Kiss, but a Hershey, a lit snowman is what I would make. That's amazing. I mean, remember like as a kid when you would like stick out your tongue in the snow, could you imagine just doing that? And like, it's just chocolate.
No, I can't.
Oh gosh, that would be awesome.
Of everything that's happened this year, I feel like we deserve this and it should be happening everywhere. So
yeah, and don't clean it. It's not, well, I guess you got to clean it because it's not going to melt like snow. Could you imagine?
It does melt. When it gets warm, you got fondue.
Yeah, yes, there you go. So I love it. That's pretty cool.
Nature's miracles. Let's hope so for Washington fans.
Yes.
Okay, let's go down conspiracy lane, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, we've both been following Free Britney for a while. Britney Spears is speculated to be a prisoner of her own home, you could say. There's all that stuff that went down in 2007. She basically went off the wall, shaved her head, and she lost her power of attorney. Crazy stuff like that. The speculation is that she is under court order to take her meds that are prescribed to her, that she might be on hallucinogenics and some crazy stuff that might be mind altering. And her social media is both tough to watch, but you can't look away. I mean, you follow her on Instagram or check out anything she posts. It's like, she looks like her soul is kind of levitating out of her body, and she's really, oh man, she doesn't even look like she's a human being anymore. So her father was appointed to be, I don't know what the legal term would be here, but basically he runs her estate, I think. And so he's making all the calls in her life. And so that appointment is going to run out soon. And so her people are saying that she's not happy with that appointment. She doesn't want her father to be running the show. What do you think is going on behind the curtain there? Because it does not look good.
First of all, full disclosure, but not a real full disclosure, but just a funny one. Britney Spears Circus concert was the best concert I have ever seen, ever. So Britney Spears in my book is awesome. #free Britney. She is amazing. I loved it. And the thing is, like, it was free tickets. I was like, I've never been to a Britney. I've never really heard a Britney Spears song. I know them, but not like putting them on my iTunes. And someone was like, hey, you want to go to a concert tonight? And I was like, you know what? I'm curious about it. Let me go. Greatest concert I have ever seen. So entertaining. Circus tour, best tour. Okay, here's my thing. This conservator, co-conservator, I just simply don't get it. Like, what is wrong? I remember when she shaved her head and stuff, but like, does she really have that many issues? I mean, I don't follow her that much. And then when I saw it trending, and I was like, what is Free Britney? And then you put on the rundown. I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to talk about this. And so I was like, okay, let me read a little bit more about it and understand it. I'm so confused. It's like, Andrew Wallet, who was her attorney, is also a co-conservator with her father, but then she wants a psychic, but her care manager to maybe be her co-conservator. I am just lost in trying to understand what's happening here. And I just want to have her life back. Maybe it's the med that's making her crazy, and just getting her life back.
100%.
They'll help. That's what I believe.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. That woman has to be on so many different, I don't want to speculate there. We're all on her side, and we all want to hashtag Free Britney.
I never even heard of it. But if I could have a conservator, my wife would be a good one. I would just say, yep, you take care of everything.
Well,
I am in good hands. And I bet Justin would say the same thing.
I don't know about that. If that ever happens, you check in on him.
Okay.
Number 2, it's a close call.
Okay.
Crazy week.
Yeah. Okay, Hayley, thank you so much. Listen, let's hope that hashtag Free Britney leads to a change for her. We want Matt Harvey. Hope everything goes well for Batman. And for the Caps, I don't know, soft spot for Barry Trotz. Let's give him a try at eliminating the Caps.
All right.
Okay. All right. Ciao for now. See you later. Konnichiwa. That's what I need to say, right? Konnichiwa.